Canelo. Jesus, Lord. Come on. You're getting paid all this money to fight against a runner who we all knew was going to run, a Cuban style. You chose him, and now you say you hate fighting runners? Well then, don't fight runners.
I don't know what the he was doing, you know. I heard that that's never happened to him until he got with Reynoso's group, you know what I'm saying? So maybe they are doing that they're not supposed to be doing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they didn't clean him out at the right time and he got caught up, you know? So, you know, I guess I'll just wait for him too. I just got to focus on July 12th. You know, after that, anything can go.
It was, it's not interesting to see the fight when one person doesn't want to win at all. But it was hard fight for Canelo because he was always aiming, and even the skull didn't throw punches, and it's hard to catch him. You know, he's just moving, but his movement is good, to be honest.
Yeah.
It might be over. The face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez, could finally be finished. Not because of a devastating knockout, not because of age, but because of a storm that has followed him for years. Steroids, PEDs, and doping accusations. Once celebrated as the pound-for-pound king, Mexico's golden boy, and the heir to Floyd Mayweather's throne, Canelo now finds himself drowning in controversy.
And it's fucked up that they don't got Tank as one of the top guys, pound for pound. And you look, they can rate Canelo up there, and I just feel like Canelo is one of the guys. He's one of the top guys up there, but he's not the only guy. Even though Spence went through what he went through, and Crawford, these guys should be rated up there. Every time they went out there, they done what they had to do. There's so many young fighters that's up and coming that we don't talk about. That kid Ennis Booth, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him. I tell these fighters, don't. Hell of a fighter. Benavidez should be ranked in the top pound for pound. But what we don't talk about is, you know, Canelo. Steroids. They don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
Do you think he was clean the night he fought?
I'm saying, I don't know. I don't know. That's y'all.
From his 2018 clenbuterol scandal to rivals like Terence Crawford, David Benavidez, and Jermall Charlo openly claiming he's not clean, fans have begun to question if his entire career was built on more than just talent. For many, it feels like the end of the Canelo era. Goodbye forever. Let's break it down. Canelo wasn't just a fighter, he was a movement. Turning pro at just 15, the red-haired kid from Guadalajara carried the hopes of a nation. He faced anyone, anywhere, building his reputation as boxing's hardest worker.
All the cars, everything you want, beautiful family. What motivates you to keep going? Why do you keep going?
I love boxing. I love what I do. I still enjoy my training camps. I enjoy boxing. I love this. I enjoy a lot this. So, and I want to continue make history because I want to put my name in a big stage, in a big position for my history. So, and I still enjoy it. I love what I do.
He rose to become Mexico's biggest superstar, a unified champion, the face of pay-per-view, and the first undisputed super middleweight champion in history.
People talk shit and say whatever they want to say, but look at Canelo. Canelo is still the man.
Yes.
You know?
He's been for a long, long time.
And he jumps in there and he does it and he goes to work, and it's hard to stay at that level for a very long time. And Canelo's another guy. I mean, what's this guy clipping 40 mil a fight?
Canelo fought names like Gennady Golovkin, Miguel Cotto, Sergey Kovalev, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant. With every victory, his legend grew. But legends aren't untouchable. In 2018, the cracks began to appear.
Fucking Canelo, man. I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like Triple G.
There's a lot of money on the line, and if I could get away with it, I would do it as well.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, well, he definitely got busted once for something, but it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that, we should probably leave them the fuck alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, lighting people on fire.
The boxing world was waiting for the Canelo GGG rematch, one of the most anticipated fights of the decade. Then the shock came. Canelo tested positive not once, but twice for clenbuterol, a banned substance.
Canelo Alvarez failed a drug test before his big Triple G fight in May, and he's blaming Mexican cows. All right, here's the deal. 2 months until the rematch with Gennady Golovkin on May 5th is going to be the big fight, and he's been taking drug tests leading up to the fight, standard operating procedure. This time he popped for a substance called clenbuterol, which is a banned substance. As a matter of fact, it helps you cut weight. A lot of people use it illegally to cut weight while maintaining muscle mass. He is saying he did not cheat. He's not a cheater. I did not intentionally take clenbuterol. Problem is, I've been training in Mexico and eating contaminated cow beef. That's what he's saying. There's a problem apparently in Mexico where some of the cattle are being injected with clenbuterol, which helps cows. It's illegal in the United States, but some places outside the United States, even some places in the United States, will use clenbuterol to grow bigger cows, to up the protein content in the meat. And he's saying that what he had was contaminated meat because his training center is in Mexico and there's a problem with Mexican meat down there. He even issued a statement saying, quote,
his explanation, contaminated beef in Mexico. And yes, it's true clenbuterol has shown up in Mexican cattle feed, but fans weren't convinced. To them, it sounded like a convenient excuse for a fighter who always seemed bigger, stronger, and more powerful than the rest.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. just reignited controversy about Canelo Alvarez's legacy. Not only did he call their 2013 fight easy, Floyd went deeper. He brought up the failed steroid test from 2018, Mayweather said. Canelo's transformation raised red flags and questioned whether all those knockouts were clean. This dude talking about eating bad meat? Are you eating steroid cows? To Mayweather. This isn't trash talk, it's about protecting the sport. He believes Canelo's record is clouded by performance enhancers, especially against smaller fighters. With Crawford stepping up in weight, Floyd's warning hits hard. Be smart. Don't base everything on power.
Canelo was hit with a 6-month suspension by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The GGG rematch was postponed, and suddenly his reputation, once untouchable, was under fire. And here's the truth about PEDs in boxing. Once your name is tied to them, that shadow never leaves. Fast forward to today, and the storm hasn't calmed. It's only grown louder. David Benavidez came right out and said, if Canelo truly believed in himself, he'd fight me. But when 5 guys from your own camp test dirty, that tells the real story.
If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me, especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off
You
the
think
steroids.
he's on steroids?
Of course. How does 5?
You saw De La Hoya
How do 5 people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? All those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
Come on, we all know what's happening. All of y'all dirty. That was Jermall Charlo, who went further, accusing Canelo of microdosing, taking clenbuterol in small amounts to avoid detection. Charlo even claimed, y'all really think Canelo hasn't been on it for years?
Nothing. Jamal, I'm just asking, when you think about Canelo and the PED usage, right? This is probably the 4th or 5th fighter out of that camp that's come up hot for PEDs. Just what are your thoughts around that? And
I've been telling y'all about Snack for a long time. Victor Conte them. All right, so hear me out. No bullshit for real. They make the drug at the limit of non-responsible. All right, so this right here, this level is you're banned. That's a banned substance. They will make the drug all the way up to the line of the banned substance, but it just doesn't show, so it's not responsible. So they've been doing that shit for years, but now that they, tapped into it, it's getting caught. Y'all think Canelo hasn't been taking clenbuterol for a long ass time? Y'all think he ain't back on that shit? Or y'all think it was just in the state? Because I go to Mexico all the time, from Houston, from Texas. I'm in Mexico all the time eating steak. I ain't never got popped for no shit like that.
When you think about
they microdosing it. Look, no excuse. I'm not trying to put nobody out there. This don't got this not just boxing. This a lot of athletes all over the world. They make the drug right there to the line of like disqualification, but they don't surpass it. So they're not getting caught for it. A lot of these fighters are all kind of shit.
Now, ahead of their September clash, Terence Crawford has added fuel to the fire. He's not clean.
What's up, everybody? I want to give a big shout out to Snack for always supporting and helping me out with this previous fight. Snack strong, baby.
When your opponent calls you out before fight night, when rivals mock you publicly, and when fans constantly question your legacy, your career is in danger. No matter how many belts you hold, your reputation is everything.
There's not much you can do either. The other thing about it is, like, once your body doesn't produce it anymore and you're in your late 30s like that and you've been juicing for a long time.
There's like Clomid and stuff that tries to or HCT or HTC. What's is that that's a cell phone? Either way,
HCG or something like that.
Whatever it is, but it's supposed to boost your testosterone naturally, but never to the levels when you're injecting that Jamba Juice.
No, not only that though, you can't take that stuff. It's
not in the
illegal.
UFC.
Right. It's illegal.
I'm just saying that's true. I guess when he retires, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, when he retires. Or goes to Ryzen. Can you imagine? If the UFC lets him out of the contract, and then all of a sudden he disappears for like 8 months, and just we hear, just locked in the house with horse meat.
Bad.
Just fillet of horse all day.
He's eating that Canelo meat.
And goes back to deadlifting and hanging out with power lifters.
Let's be honest, PEDs change everything in boxing. They don't just make you stronger, they speed recovery, make cutting weight easier, and boost stamina. They let fighters survive wars others can't. That's why so many fans feel betrayed. Because PEDs aren't just cheating, they're dangerous. When one man has that edge and the other doesn't, every punch is a loaded weapon. And Canelo's camp history doesn't help. His close ally Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. tested positive, and Jamie Munguia's name has been floated in whispers too. That's why David Benavidez insists it's not just Canelo, it's his whole team. Here's the tragedy. Canelo has done everything a fighter can do. Unified divisions, fought pound-for-pound stars, carried boxing for nearly a decade. But legacy isn't only about wins, it's about how fans remember you. Right now, he risks being remembered not as a hero, but as a cheat. Think about Barry Bonds or Lance Armstrong. Brilliant athletes, but forever tainted. That's the shadow Canelo is fighting under.
Everyone watch this.
How would you have done if you didn't cheat?
It'd be very difficult, right? Old school doping, cortisone, and other things here and there. 1, maybe 2%. EPO is a 10%er. What do you think we all did?
But you didn't get 10% better, you got 100% fraudulent. This isn't about redemption, it's reputation, damage, control, and disguise. You didn't make a tough choice, you made the easiest one. Lie, inject, win, repeat. And while you were stacking trophies and $1 million brand endorsements, you were burying every clean athlete who still believed in hard work. You were a role model to me as well until you became a warning label. You didn't cheat the system. You cheated the fans, you cheated the sports, and you cheated yourself. And now you're trying to justify setting a wrong example for anyone who's actually trying to get ahead in life. And this is exactly why I don't do business with anyone who buys followers and likes on social media. Because if you lie about that, what else are you lying about? What are your thoughts about that?
And let's be real, Canelo Alvarez isn't the same champion anymore. The aura of dominance, the explosiveness, that killer edge, it doesn't hit the same. Just look at his most recent fight with William Skull. Fans were hyped for a vintage performance, but instead got 12 flat rounds of Canelo looking like he was coasting. Skull, a relatively unknown Cuban with nothing on paper to trouble him, managed to survive with little risk.
It was absolutely crap, load of rubbish. The fight really was a waste of time. If you haven't watched it, don't watch it, because there's better things you can be doing, like probably watching the grass grow or watching some paint dry maybe. But that fight was a total waste of time. Watching that as a former unified super middleweight world boxing champion and Hall of Famer, I was thinking to myself, what an opportunity you've got there. If I was fighting still 10 years ago, if that opportunity came up for me, I know Canelo Alvarez is going to be a tough fight for anybody. I know it's a long ask trying to beat a guy like that, but come on. If I'm in there with Canelo for whatever amount of money, There's going to come a point where I'm saying, right, I'm going for it now. Probably around 3 or 4, I'm going to stick it on him and have a go. To be given an opportunity like that, Skull, defending his IBF title and potentially becoming undisputed, to go in there and just perform like that, for me, it's not acceptable. And I think in my day, and with my mindset and the way I used to fight, I'd have gone for it. Just gone for it, and then give the fans, give the boxing fans, and do myself, I'm a trainer, proud.
But Canelo didn't send a message. He didn't push for the finish. It was slow, methodical, even boring. A unanimous decision that left fans disappointed. And that's the issue. People don't tune in to see Canelo play it safe. They want the big, dangerous fights, the legacy fights. And one name has haunted him for years: David Benavidez, the Mexican monster. Fans demand it. The boxing world begs for it. But time and again, Canelo sidesteps it. Instead, he chooses safer opponents like Skull, while Benavidez keeps knocking out contenders and proving he's the real king at 168. And it's not just fans saying it. Pundits, ex-fighters, even promoters are calling it out. They believe Canelo is protecting his status, not proving it. Deep down, everyone knows Benavidez is the real threat. And maybe Canelo doesn't want to risk losing the one thing that keeps his aura alive, being the face of boxing.
Canelo running from Benavidez. What is that? I mean, imagine if I ever ran from anybody. Like, did I run from somebody in my career? No. Did Chavez run from somebody in his career? No. Chavez was 87-0. Imagine that. So to me, that's the all-time greatest fighter.
So yes, he's still winning. But the wins aren't exciting, they're not meaningful, and they're not the fights people want. That's why more and more fans say this isn't the Canelo Alvarez we used to know. Which brings us to the upcoming fight with Terence Crawford. And the elephant in the room: the weight. On paper, it's the fight of the year. Maybe the decade. 2 pound-for-pound greats, 2 legends colliding. But the size gap is massive, and fans wonder if it's even fair. Canelo is comfortable at 168, carrying natural muscle and power.
Terence Crawford, does he have an opportunity to beat Canelo?
I think if anybody has a chance to beat Canelo, I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins. Wouldn't be surprised if he loses either. Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Errol Spence, he showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. So I don't know. You really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That might activate him to come back strong.
Could you still make 68?
I don't want to make 68.
No, I know you don't. Terence wins 68.
Yeah, well, if that's, yeah, I can make 160.
Crawford, meanwhile, climbed from lightweight to welterweight, and now has to leap 2 more divisions just to meet him. That's huge. A man who usually weighs in at 147 to 154 going against someone who dominates naturally bigger, stronger fighters. The physics can't be ignored. Can Crawford's speed, IQ, and counterpunching offset Canelo's size and power? That's the million-dollar question. And yet, even with the doubts, fans can't help but be hyped.
Your expectations for what the next couple of months are going to hold for both guys?
This is going to be super interesting for Canelo especially. Everyone's focusing on Terence Crawford because he's the smaller guy. How much weight is he going to put on, et cetera, et cetera. No rehydration clause in this fight. Meaning, you know, like when Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo's the bigger guy, he put a rehydration clause in, because Floyd was the money guy. If Canelo wanted the payday, he had to acquiesce and give Floyd what he wanted. Canelo's the money guy. Terence Crawford can't go in there and say, hey, I want a rehydration clause. Not that he even would, right? So everyone's looking at Crawford. How big is he going to be? But I'm looking at Canelo. What Canelo comes into this fight? The older Canelo, meaning the younger Canelo, the older guy, you know, the old, long time ago Canelo, who was a really well-rounded counterpuncher, who could do everything, or this more recent Canelo, who just hunts guys down and has become more one-dimensional.
The boxing world is divided right down the middle. Some say Canelo's size and strength will bulldoze Bud. Others believe Crawford's timing, skills, and fight IQ are too sharp and that he'll neutralize everything Canelo brings.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You mention me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, Me.
Look,
It's gonna be me.
I don't
And
care
you
about
will-
nobody else.
And you will see that.
So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? Same everybody else been saying since I moved to 147, I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next.
And that's exactly why this fight is so massive. Despite the doubts, despite the weight drama, greatness versus greatness always sells. But here's the reality. On paper, Canelo is still the face of boxing, selling pay-per-views, packing stadiums, and making millions. In the court of public opinion, though, he's already guilty. Every win, fans will question. Every loss, critics will say he was finally exposed. His rivals don't fear him anymore. They accuse him. And when your reputation is gone in boxing, your career might as well be too. Yes, Canelo will still fight, still cash in. But the aura, the myth, the invincibility, that may already be dead. So I'll ask you, is Canelo still one of the greatest ever? Or has the PED storm already ruined his legacy? Will the fight with Terence Crawford silence the critics, or be the final nail in the coffin? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, and subscribe to Fight Field for more.